If you asked me today, how do I become a good parent? I'd look you dead in the eye and tell you, go play Breath of the Wild and spend as much time as possible on the Great Plateau. And I'm dead serious when I say this. The Great Plateau will teach you everything you need to know about being a good parent, simply by letting you be a child again. You see, for Link and ourselves, the Great Plateau is a literal place of rediscovery, where dormant instincts are awakened, where forgotten skills are rekindled. But we must listen to what it's telling us. And every square inch is designed to teach without ever explicitly saying, this is a lesson. No, the Great Plateau doesn't just tell you how to play the game. It shows you what it means to learn, and not through fact regurgitation or simple memorization. It teaches you in its own quiet way that the instructions for living a life are to pay attention, be astonished. No one helps us absorb this way of listening and learning like the poet Mary Oliver. She writes to us in her poem Wild Geese.
The world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things.
Nature, embodied by the Great Plateau, will tell us everything we need to know to become the parent or person we want to become. We must listen. Nature, emulated beautifully on the Great Plateau, tells us that we're not simply guiding our children through the act of discovering their own answers of life. We're re-examining our own. Playing through this space is a reminder that neither parenthood nor childhood are static roles. They're both first and foremost a journey of becoming and an invitation to learn. The Great Plateau is an experience defined by its boundaries. For Link, it's a world small enough to feel safe, but rich enough to feel alive. Link can find safety in the lands of familiarity, while also reaching out to scale new heights. The Great Plateau truly feels infinite due to these physical barriers that define the space. When we're young, our world too feels infinite. But our experience within it is anything but. We're confined. Not by walls or cliffs as Link is, but by the boundaries set by our parents, our schools, our society, and our circumstances. These boundaries, though, they don't exist to us as limits. They exist to give us something we can hold on to. A foundation we can stand on while we figure out how to climb. The plateau and childhood are places where every direction feels like possibility, but where every edge gently whispers to us, not yet. Both the game and life plan for us to fail a lot, and even invites us to learn through the process of failing. The game specifically plans for this process of failing by giving us the parental figures of healing items and autosaves. The possibility of failure or limitations, these don't intend to confine us. Rather, they protect us and give us space to discover who we are and how we want to navigate our time in this world. Oh, and speaking of parental figures, soon into our journey through the Great Plateau, we find the old man. His presence is oddly comforting and familiar, and reminds us of the safety of home. Something about his presence feels so trustworthy. He also seems to trust us intuitively, but keeps a vagueness in his words. Notably, he doesn't hover over us, telling us exactly how we should go about saving the kingdom. Really, he doesn't explicitly instruct us. Not exactly, at least. Instead of being a tyrannical dictator or a completely distant, laissez-faire type of father figure, he gently nudges us, offering clues and vague directions of where to go next. His posture is one of kindness and understanding. He too has discovered what nature has to tell, and instead of distilling all of the things that he's learned, he knows that the path to learning starts with piquing curiosity. His life, through circumstance and nature, has been carved anew, as Link's now has. He points us towards the next step, but he never forces us to take it, leading instead with invitation and permission. Isn't that what good parenting and good teaching looks like? A thoughtful balance of guidance and freedom, letting us discover where and how we want to proceed, all while honoring the lessons we've gained from the world around us. Which leads me to discovery. And we will discover. On the Great Plateau, every shimmering Korok leaf, every rusted sword, every Bokoblin camp is an invitation to explore. Link will stumble and fall as we learn how to shoot a bow and arrow, as we learn how to swim in lakes, and how we will avoid being shot by lasers. Childhood and parenthood, likewise, is a time for the same curiosity and exploration. A world often comprised of scraped knees, broken toys, and joyful surprises. It's a time when the stakes feel so low, but every discovery feels monumental. The Great Plateau is where Link regains, comes to terms with his sense of purpose, and begins to understand his role in the larger world. Similarly, childhood is a time where we start to recognize our own abilities and potential. And facing that potential can often be overwhelming. What exactly is our potential? What can we become? What should we become? Are we living up to the expectations that the designers of the game or our parents had for us? For Link, at least, the answer is obvious. Become stronger and eventually defeat Ganon. For us, that's a much more difficult thing to clarify. I'm sorry. All I can tell you right now is to let the soft animal of your body love what it wants. And who should we meet there on our broader journey but ourselves? A younger self, in a sense. We will meet them to offer them the understanding and kindness that was never afforded to us. We will let our younger selves meet and connect with our own children. In this process, marrying the memories of our childhood to their experience of youth will ultimately heal both them and ourselves. Our children and our internal, younger selves will look up at us, not having to wonder if they have made us proud, for they both will see the smile on our now wrinkle-filled faces as we are reminded of what our great plateaus provided and continue still to provide. So do not fear parenthood. There's so much around you that will guide you, if only you will listen to what it has to say, and you'll honor what it has taught you all along. Thank you. Have a great evening.
You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves.